My name's James Carter, 23 years old, and in 2023, I landed my first job out of university as an IT support specialist for a charity in Manchester, England. It was a small organization, about 100 staff, focused on community outreach, and I was hired to build a ticketing website from scratch. A dream project for a fresh grad like me. I was thrilled, ready to prove myself. But from day one, my boss, Helen, turned my dream into a nightmare. She sabotaged my work, stole my successes, and pinned every failure on me, all to make herself look better. For months, I gave her the benefit of the doubt, but by December, I realized she was out to get me fired. What she didn't know was that I was watching, documenting, and planning. In the end, I didn't just save my job, I ended her career. It all started in March 2023. I walked into the charity's cramped office, a mix of old computers and motivational posters. My role was twofold: handle IT support and lead the development of a new ticketing website to streamline event registrations. The website was my baby. I'd write the code, design the interface, manage the database, everything. Helen, the head of operations, was my boss. She seemed professional at first, all smiles and, "We're so excited to have you." But within a week, I saw her true colors. Every time I made progress, she'd swoop in, claim credit in meetings, and leave me to clean up her messes. If a server crashed or a deadline slipped, her fault or not, she'd point at me, saying, "James needs to step up." I was new, eager to please, so I let it slide, thinking she'd ease up. I was wrong. By November, the website was coming along. It wasn't perfect, but I'd built a functional prototype, integrated a SQL database, and gotten positive feedback from early testers. I sent an update email to the 13 senior staff members, outlining progress and next steps. 5 responded, CCing everyone, asking for details on features like payment processing and user access. I started drafting replies, but Helen stormed over. "Don't respond," she snapped. "I'll handle it." I pushed back. "If I don't reply, it'll look like I'm dodging them or don't know the answers." She smiled, all fake reassurance. "Trust me, James. I've got this." A week passed. No replies. I even drafted a template for her. My stress levels spiking as directors' complaints flooded my inbox. Why haven't we heard back? I was tearing my hair out, but Helen did nothing. Then came December, and things got worse. On one of my 4 sick days that year, a nasty flu had me bedridden. Helen called a meeting with the project's key players. Without telling me, she announced I'd been removed from the website project due to incompetence and ordered everyone to stop communicating with me about it. The next day, back in the office, she held another meeting, again without me, repeating the same lie. I kept working, oblivious, wondering why my emails to colleagues went unanswered. A week later, in a meeting with all the major players, Helen tore into me in front of everyone. "James, why are you still meddling in the project? You were removed for incompetence." I froze, my face burning. It was the first I'd heard of it. The room went silent, directors exchanging awkward glances. My role was reduced to basic IT support, patching servers, resetting passwords, while Helen took over the project. Under her, progress stalled. For 3 months, nothing got done. By February 2024, the website's go-live date of February 21st had come and gone. The project was a mess. Jobs I'd started were undone. Features were coded wrong, deadlines missed. I couldn't stand watching my work crumble, so I started picking up small tasks again, fixing bugs and tweaking the database. It was stupid, maybe, But I hoped saving the project would make Helen see my value. By March, I'd gotten things back on track, but instead of thanks, Helen used my efforts to frame me. "This should have been done months ago," she'd say in meetings, implying I'd been in charge all along. On April 1st, we launched a barely functional website, a clunky interface on a messy SQL database. It was a disaster, and Helen made sure everyone thought it was my fault. The worst came when the third-party support company who'd helped me build the system asked Helen to sign off on the project. On April 4th, she did, cutting me off from their support. The remaining work, my work, was now on a unique system only I understood, hosted on their servers. Every time I needed access, the company demanded payment, which only Helen could authorize. I chased her for weeks, but she ignored me, then used the unfinished tasks to paint me as lazy. "James isn't getting it done," she'd tell directors, while I was stuck waiting for her approval. From March to May, I worked 110%, late nights, weekends, no breaks, fixing her mistakes, only for her to claim credit or blame me when things went wrong. By mid-May, the directors demanded a catch-up meeting to address the project's failures. Helen saw her chance to bury me. That same day, she started her campaign. "As you know, James was supposed to finish this months ago," or "This issue is because James didn't fix it." The meeting was set for May 30th, and I knew she'd humiliate me in front of everyone, just like always. But this time, I was ready. Helen went on holiday 2 weeks before, giving me time to prepare. I created a folder of printed emails, every ignored request, every time she took credit, every lie she'd pulled. I anticipated her attacks and built a defense for each one. I wasn't going down without a fight. On May 28th, Helen returned and called me into her office alone. Her voice was venomous. "The project's failure is your fault, James. You blame others. You're incompetent, lazy, not smart enough for an office job." She even mocked my degree, saying I didn't belong in IT. I stayed calm, correcting her lies point by point. But inside, I was gutted. She offered fake sympathy, like a mother consoling a child. But it was all manipulation. I walked out, hands shaking, and went straight to the HR director. That was the start of my formal grievance against her. The next day, May 29th, she tried again, cornering me to break my spirit. I held firm, refuting every accusation. She was visibly rattled, her hands trembling. I met with HR again, laying out my case. The May 30th meeting came, and Helen did exactly what I'd predicted, blaming me for every delay, every bug. But I was prepared. I presented my folder of emails, calmly explaining how Helen had stalled the project, ignored directors, and lied about my role. The room was stunned. Directors started asking her pointed questions, and she stammered, her confidence crumbling. After the meeting, Helen doubled down. She stripped me of all project tasks again, then finally contacted the third-party company, threatening to withhold payment unless they finished my queued jobs. When they did, she took full credit, saying, "See how quickly I got it done?" But I was done playing her game. I emailed HR formally, launching the grievance process. Then I noticed my emails, key evidence, were disappearing. Helen had changed my domain account password and deleted them. Luckily, I'd printed the important ones and started auto-forwarding all new emails to a personal Gmail account. I backed up my work on the shared network too, as files began looking off. The stress was crushing. I lost weight, took 8 sick days in June alone, double my total from the previous year. Helen went into overdrive, bad-mouthing me to anyone who'd listen. She even convinced the third-party IT support that I was trashing their work, nearly cutting me off from them. But my evidence was ironclad. I met with HR weekly, handing over my printed emails and backups. When investigators reviewed my grievance, the truth was undeniable. Helen's lies unraveled, and she took sick leave for nearly all of July, avoiding the fallout. On July 29th, HR upheld my grievance on every point. That same day, Helen left early, never to return. On July 30th, the directors called a full staff meeting. They announced Helen had resigned, but whispers confirmed she'd been fired. The relief was overwhelming. That night, the staff planned an unofficial party with a Ding Dong the Witch is Dead theme. I didn't go. HR advised discretion, but I heard it was wild. Helen's career tanked. After 6 months unemployed, she's now a secretary at an auction house, a far cry from head of operations. But Helen didn't stop. She's been meeting ex-colleagues and local charity donors, spreading lies about me and fishing for dirt to sue the charity. It's like being chased by a ghost, but I'm not scared anymore. I took 2 holidays after the ordeal, recharging in the sun, and I'm back at work, respected by my team. The website's still a work in progress, but I'm leading it again with proper support. Helen thought she could break me, make me the scapegoat for her failures. Instead, I exposed her, saved my job, and watched her fall. As I sit at my desk, coding the site's next update, I feel a quiet satisfaction. Thanks for the lesson, Helen. You taught me to never back down.